Hey there, welcome to this introduction to Ostfront video. This video contains information that will set you up right the first time on your first Conquest campaign. It contains information I wish somebody would have told me when I first started out. First we're going to talk about your Conquest settings. Starting out, I recommend taking Germany. They have good unit variety that'll last you all the way to the late stages of the war. As for difficulty, you'll want to drop that all the way down to easy. This will nerf the enemy AR's accuracy, its health, its grenade spam, and it'll also reduce the number of units they send at you in waves. The next thing you want to do is set your economy to very high. This is going to buff your starting resources and it's going to buff the rewards you get for finishing a mission. This will take pressure off you while you figure out how the game works, and it'll also afford you the ability to explore the tree at your own leisure, given you'll have so many resources to buy units with. The next thing you want to do is set your operation size to small. What this is going to do is set the conquest length to 9 to 12 days, making the experience much more digestible, allowing you the ability to change tack, change faction later if you want, if you're tired of it, or right at the end it'll allow you to continue. So you'll maintain your research, everything you've unlocked, your units and your resources, and do it all over again if you choose to. Then lastly, I recommend unticking Enable Fog of War. Fog of War is a complex game dynamic on top of an already complicated game, and having it enabled will make your first learning experience a lot harder initially. Now we're going to talk about the units you'll unlock on day 1. When you start, click the research tree button on the left. This will open up the research tab for the Germans. When you open up the tab on day 1, you should have 10 research points. The first thing you're going to want to unlock is Call-in Stage 2. It's free and it allows you to bring more units onto the battlefield. The next thing you're going to want to unlock is Riflemen. Those will be your basic frontline units in the early stages of the game. The next thing you're going to want to unlock is the 7.5 LEIG-18. This is an excellent anti-infantry gun, and playing it as the player gives you a very elevated position of view that allows you to survey the battlefield. Lastly, you're going to want to start working on your tank line, so you'll unlock the Panzer I and the Panzer II. You'll notice I haven't spent all my research points. I typically hold a few back and work on my tank line, buying only what I think I know I'll use, but you're absolutely welcome to use them on something you might find interesting or think you'd enjoy. Having armor superiority in the early part of the war will put you in a comfortable position and allow you to absorb whatever the enemy throws at you. The last tip I have for setting up your campaign is getting a mod called Preparation Time Plus. You can get it on the Steam Workshop, and what it's going to do is increase the cost of capturing a point in game. That's inadvertently going to slow the game down for you, allowing you to take your time and giving you some breathing room. It's also going to increase the amount of time you have for when you need to defend a position. Now we're going to talk about day 1 unit purchases. On day 1, you're going to want to purchase a rifle squad, a medic to heal them, a supply crate to rearm everyone, a 3.7 Puck 36 for light anti-armor action, a 7.5 LEIG-18 anti-infantry gun which has a great point of view for the player, and lastly you're going to want to get that KP2 so that you can drive around and have fun as well. Now we're going to get ready for deployment. Now you're going to take all those units you've just purchased and move them into the window on the right. The window on the right is your call-in stages. You have up to 6 different call-in stages. We've only got 2 unlocked. These bring in your units in tranches during the game. Whatever doesn't fit into tranche 1, click the second call-in stage and move the excess units into tranche 2. Now I'm going to talk you through the set pieces of your typical assault mission. The first thing you're going to want to do once you can see the screen is to pause the game and evaluate the situation. Now as a new player, I highly recommend leaning on your pause key. Mine is bound to my spacebar, but you can bind yours to whatever you find comfortable. Anytime you're uncertain, pause the game. You use and abuse and exploit that key as much as you need to. How an assault mission typically works is the enemy has already captured 2 points. They will be on the map. Then the enemy is going to bring in waves of units. It's here that I recommend hanging back and finding a position to defend, and so that you can wait for the enemies to come to you. Now let's set up your day 1 defense. Once you've deployed in and paused the game, you'll want to look for an elevated position with near 180-degree coverage of all incoming enemy lanes. And just like in the movies, elevated ground is superior ground. Another tip is that you'll want to look at your defensive position from the enemy's point of view. This will help you clear out any unidentified obstructions early on before the battle kicks off. Once you've decided on where you want to defend, you're going to select your rifleman, you're going to click the Dig Foxhole icon, and you're going to shift, left click and drag multiple chained foxholes in a line that is perpendicular to their enemy attack vector. When you're placing your dig-ins, try to ensure there are no solid objects behind the dig-in. The reason for this is that any incoming HE shell that misses the foxhole, hitting this object will decrease the survivability of your infantry dramatically. Next, you're going to want to move your placements up. You want to move your LEIG-18 up close to your dig-ins. The reason for this is when the enemy arrives, they're likely to attack your infantry first, potentially outranging your anti-infantry gun. The LEIG-18 only has an attack range of 160 meters, so you won't be able to counter-attack if your placements are too far back. Next, we'll discuss line of sight. After placing your placements, you'll want to check their line of sight. Here we can see this anti-tank gun is obstructed by an infantryman in a foxhole. We'll need to now move this unit to a better position. After moving this unit and checking its line of sight, we can see it has almost 180-degree coverage. A unit that's obstructed is effectively disabled, so always check the line of sight of your important critical placements. And also be wary of sandbags. Sandbag placements can inadvertently become an obstruction once in a while. In this game, the player can directly control the units on the field. I have preferences, and some units play better than others, which is why I've brought the KP2. It's got a 20mm autocannon for sniping and a machine gun for general cleanup. A quick word on medics. You'll want to keep one of them a little back out of the action, and you'll want to keep the other one close to your infantrymen in case they take a bullet so they can auto-heal them. Now that our defenses are all set up and our medics placed, we sit tight and wait for the enemy to come to us. A good defense is a strong offense. Now that your defensive position is set up, it's going to do all the work for you, absorbing wave after wave of enemy. It's here that I encourage you in this idle time to take control over different units and get a sense of how they play. Another tip I have is to bind a key to switch ammo. Mine is shift space, allowing me to switch between HE and AP on the go. Generally you want to use AP variants for armor and HE for infantry. Generally speaking, your anti-tank guns like your 45mm M37 or your Puck 36 are better at taking out tanks, while your anti-infantry gun like the LEIG-18 is much better at crowd control and explosive rounds and taking out infantry. One of two things are going to happen now. A, you're going to get bored, or B, the enemy is going to run out of units to send against you, at which point the action should die down. It's at this stage you might decide to go capture a point. Generally speaking, you want to capture points slowly and in increments. However, Fog of War has been disabled, meaning you can see and outrange everything before they can see you, so you don't have to play as cautiously. Capturing a point is pretty straightforward. Move units into the red square and wait until the point has been captured. Once both points have been captured or the points have run out, the mission should complete. It's here you'll get the option to continue or close. I recommend clicking continue so that you can carry on collecting equipment, salvaging and repairing items for sale. In Ostfront, all items on the ground are interactable. Dead soldiers will drop their weapons and their ammo. It's completely realistic to send your riflemen around collecting better weapons, from light machine guns to submachine guns and even sniper rifles. In addition to this, you can also salvage and repair vehicles and placements. This is a great way to explore and learn the opposing faction's equipment, from their placements to their vehicles. Whatever you choose not to keep, you can sell for manpower points, which will allow you to buy more units for yourself after the game. Just a note on repairing. Tankmen repair at double the speed of a regular rifleman, and engineers repair at double the speed of a tankman. If you choose to take something off the battlefield, always leave one soldier arming that placement. You'll know if a vehicle or a placement is salvageable because they'll often be represented by a white icon on the minimap. I hope you learned something today and you found this guide useful. I'll be doing a day 2 of Germany Conquest Campaign guide pretty soon, where I'll cover mining and fortifications. If you liked the video, give it a like. Until next time, cheers.